Frampton, thanks for joining us on the VIP TV. It must just be relief that the fight against Jamel Herring, chance to become a freeweight world champion, now at super featherweight, has been announced, because it's been talked about for so long, this fight. It's one of those, you must have thought yourself it could slip away.
Yeah, look, I'm delighted to finally get over the line. I understand there's a lot of difficulties and making this fight happen. So a credit to everybody involved in making it happen. But it was first spoken about in November 2019 when I fought Tyler McCreary in Vegas. Actually, it was probably spoken about before that, really. And I needed to win that fight to fight Herring next. And it's been a long time coming. But whenever it happens, I'll be more than ready for it.
I mean, I just saw on his Twitter feed earlier, and he was, looking forward to fighting you, and he was very nice. But he said, fighting behind closed doors in England wasn't something that excited him, but it had to be done. Well, I'm under your thoughts on that, really.
It doesn't really excite me either, if I'm being honest. But I'd prefer not to fight behind closed doors. I feel like a fight of this magnitude deserves some sort of a crowd. But it is what it is, and there's not a lot I can do about it now. So, it's a fight, and I'll be up for it. I feel like in my last fight behind closed doors, I probably became a little bit complacent, but that was more so, rather than being behind closed doors, it was more so to do with a level of opposition. I'll need to be more on it this time for Jamel Herring, and I feel like it will be.
It must have been a long time before you went into the fight, and I don't mean to disrespect Darren Trainer at all, where you must know in your head, well, I'm going to win. And that's not, knocking Darren at all. He's a decent fighter. It's just the levels you competed at.
Yeah, look, I had it in my head beforehand to try and not get complacent. But I think when he hit me and I felt his power, I just kind of knew I had nothing really to worry about, and complacency crept in. It was hard for me to get out of second gear, really. But I got the win, stoppage win. At lightweight, which was a bit mad, me fighting at lightweight, but it was a fight and it was a win, so happy days.
Yeah. Do you think you'll have any advantage, the fact he's got to come here, go into quarantine? Where, obviously, when he's here to fight, but the fact he'll be locked up in a hotel, he'll be allowed out to the gym, do a little bit of road work, but apart from that, he won't, able to do too much.
All these things are to my advantage. All these things, and that's why I have to credit Jamel Herring for coming here as the champion, because I think initially when first spoken about, he wanted to be involved in a huge atmosphere, but he's not going to get that. He's going to have to make weight in a very cold country. He's not going to be used to the surroundings. All these things are on my side, so. I'd be using them to my advantage.
Have you met him at all, or come across him at all? Because you both seem similar characters. You're both decent guys, just want to get on and fight.
I met him after the fight in Vegas. So I met him briefly. He was in the ring, and then I met him. I think I may have spoke to him outside as well. Just a nice guy, someone who I have the utmost respect for as a man, and obviously as a fighter too.
Yeah, I mean, and if you win this fight, what do you think? Because you're both sort of, I don't want to sound, I would never disrespect you, that, but you're almost like, the golden oldies of the division at 35 and 33, and there's all these young guns like Jackal, Stevenson, Javonta Davis. Do you feel like an old man?
Golden oldies, yeah. I know. I don't feel like an old man, no. If I'm being honest, I feel good. I feel like I'm enjoying boxing, and I feel like, I'm in a good place. I'm fit, extremely fit. I've done a test. Tommy Coyle is doing this thing called the Cooper test for all his clients. I've done this yesterday. So a Cooper test is you run as far as you can in 12 minutes. And then you do So the next exercise, the body weight exercise, you do a burpee, a press up, a body weight squat, and sit-ups 10 times each. Repeat that 10 times. So 100 exercises, 400 exercises all in, 4 time. And I smashed everyone in Tommy Coyle's virtual gym that he's having, which you expect. I'm a professional boxer, aren't I? But I'm in the prime of my life, mate. I'm fit. I'm extremely fit, and I'm ready for this.
Yeah, I didn't mean you're old. I didn't mean that at all. I said, what I meant was, do you feel old compared to guys like Jackal, Steve, Javonte? I'd never say you was too old. No.
Well, I just feel a bit more mature than these guys, and I don't feel like I have to shout my mouth off all the time. And a lot of these boys feel like when they have to say these things that are going to get a bit of attention, when you don't have to say it at all. You know, Shakur Stevens and other kids like him are capable enough to fight without having to open their mouth too much. So, but I feel like I'd say I'm one of the more mature guys, and Jamel is, of the super featherweight division.
Yeah, I didn't want you to think I was calling you old there. I'd never do that.
No, don't worry about
it. Did you see him against Jonathan Quendon? What did you think of the performance? Because look, I don't think so, but a few critics, shall we say, were saying he was looking for out in that fight, Herring.
Yeah, I saw that fight, and it was a strange ending. We saw what Timothy Bradley or we heard what Timothy Bradley and Andre Ward said, and they weren't happy with how he got out of the fight at the end. It was just all a bit strange, wasn't it? And a wee bit dubious, but he wasn't brilliant in that fight. I think he's openly admitted that himself. He will need to be better than he was against Quendon to beat me, but I'll need to be better than I was against Darren Trainer to beat him too. So I think we both have to up our game here.
What about, what's it like for you growing into that weight now at super featherweight?
Well, it's not, I wouldn't say it's easy for me to make it, because it's not, even though people look at the size of me and they think it's going to be comfortable. But as you get older, it's a little bit harder to make the weight. And I've got a great nutritionist on board who actually is Aston Villa's lead nutritionist, Marcus. He's from back home in Northern Ireland, but he worked with Everton now. He's with Aston Villa. He's been working with me now for a number of camps, and I do it the correct way. But it's not easy for me to make 9 stone 4, but I do it. So I'm saying that because I'm kind of trying to hint that I'm about 6 inches shorter than Jamel Herring, and if I'm saying it's not easy for me to make 9 stone 4, but he's saying it's pretty easy for him to make 9 stone 4, I think one of us is probably telling a few spoofs, and it's not me.
Have you ever fought anyone who's 6-7 inches taller than you before?
I have, but not at the level of Jamel. Chris Hughes was probably a similar height. McCreary was probably a similar height to Herring, but they're not to the level of Jamel Herring. But I'm used to sparring, big man, and I know it's different. It's not, sparring and fights are different, but I've been in the ring with some big men throughout my career, whether that's sparring or a fight.
When you first went to Jamie, I remember you telling me in the Box Nation days, as soon as you went to Jamie, you cut the sparring down by half. Are you still on that routine with sparring?
Yeah, I spar a lot less, but I was doing an extreme amount of sparring when I was with my previous team for the Quig fight. I think I'd done 220 rounds of sparring, and I was sparring middleweights and stuff and light middleweights. Gary Corcoran was, I think it might have been for the Quig fight. Gary Corcoran was my chief sparring partner, and he went on to fight Jeff Horn for the light welterweight world title, or welterweight world title, maybe.
He fought Jeff Horn.
Yeah, so that I was doing too much, and it just puts years. It puts years on your career, but it takes, I think, that hard sparring. It potentially could take years off your life too. So, I reduced that massively, and I don't feel like it's impacted on my performances. I think that if you look at other fighters, older fighters like Bernard Hopkins, prime example, reduced the amount of sparring he done. Joe Calzaghe didn't spar many rounds, and these guys had great long careers.
So
I know how to fight, Steve. You know what I mean? I know how to fight. I don't need to do 220 rounds of sparring anymore. I just need to know how to fight and navigate my way through a fight, and I can do that.
I mean, it's incredible now in this day and age that guys like you and Jamel, that you've been around so long as amateurs as well. People just look at your professional records, think, they've been around 10 years, whatever. Jamel a bit less because he went to the Olympics. But, is it a credit to you both that even after all these years boxing, high-level amateur, high-level professional, you're still at the peak of your powers fighting for a major world title where the winner's going to go on to most probably, a massive payday?
Yeah, to try and unify, of course, and I think, well, yeah, credit to me. I'll take some credit to her, credit to Jamel Herring, but a credit to everybody who's been involved in getting us there. And it's not just us really. We're the fighters. We have to put the effort in, but it's a team effort as well. And I suppose Jamel Herring would agree with me there that it's not just him. He's a big team behind him, and it's a credit to us all for staying at the very top for such a long time.
Yeah. And before we let you go, since you know a few years you've been in Manchester now, you've had Stephen Ward as a flatmate, all sorts of guys you've lived with. What's it like having Jamie Moore and his missus as the landlord and landlady now?
It's all right. They're good people, you know, and I've it's almost like my own house out the back where I'm staying, and I come in and, you know, Jamie and Colleen, they really look after me, and I enjoy it. Just it's a bit of company really for me, so it's good. It's good.
Yeah, are you going to pop home at all any weekends between now and the fight?
Yeah, look, I get home as much. I normally get home every weekend but because of, well, restrictions and COVID and trying to limit my travel, I'm going to get home every second weekend, just to see the kids. And, you know, whatever, boxing is extremely important to me, and I will do whatever it takes to win this fight. But my family are more important to me than boxing is, so I'm not going to spend 6 or 7 weeks, however long it is till the fight. I'm not going to spend that away from my family. I just wouldn't do it. I wouldn't be able to do it mentally. It wouldn't be right for me. So I'll be getting home to see Christine and the kids as much as I can.
So you should be, if that's worked for you in the past. You've been in England for many years, in London. If it's worked for you in the past, some fighters need to be shut away for 10 weeks and not see anybody.
You know, everybody's different.
You need a cuddle off your kids and your wife.
Yeah, everybody's different, Steve. I would just start to miss everybody. I feel like Christine's at home at the minute trying to homeschool 2 kids as well. So I feel like I've stranded them a bit, which is annoying me a little bit. And she's I'm sure struggling as well under current restrictions everywhere across the UK and Northern Ireland as well. So yeah, I can't wait to get home, if I'm being honest.
Well, thanks a lot, Carl, for speaking to us tonight, and I'll catch you 2 a couple of weeks before the fight, and appreciate your time anyway. You take care, mate.
Thanks, Steve. All the best, mate.
Thank you very much. Top man as always.
For all boxing info, news and latest interviews, amateur and pro, across the north, click and subscribe. VIP Boxing Promotions. Also, Twitter, Instagram and Facebook.